When I'm done, half of the Saber community will still exist. Hey there, Saber fans, Shamim here. Today we are unveiling the long-awaited Infinity Lightsaber, inspired by the Infinity Gauntlet worn by the Mad Titan Thanos, the antagonist or protagonist, depending on how you look at it, of Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, which came out earlier this year. I loved the movie. I thought that the character of Thanos was unbelievably engaging and enthralling and captivating. Josh Brolin did an amazing job bringing the character to life. I loved his performance. I loved the CGI. The effects on Thanos himself were phenomenal. They looked amazing. And the gauntlet that he wears and that he uses to wield the power of all 6 Infinity Stones. It was a pretty epic, an epic piece. So that movie came out, and a day or two later, within one of the lightsaber groups, someone commented and said, hey, so who's going to make the first Infinity Gauntlet lightsaber? And I thought to myself, that would be really cool. And then my next thought was, I remember KR Sabers posting his flagship hilt that he had machined in both aluminum and brass. And at the time that I first saw the flagship, I thought, oh, that's a nice hilt, but it doesn't necessarily speak to my own personal design aesthetic. And it's not necessarily something that I could see myself doing something with, just, for my own personal collection. So I passed on it, but I just kind of kept it in the back of my head. And a year later, when someone mentioned an Infinity Lightsaber, I immediately, my brain went to the flagship by KR Sabers, specifically in brass. So with that in mind, I reached out to my good friend Ryan Lannon at Ronin Custom Armory, magnificent acid etcher, very talented individual. And I said, here's my idea. KR Sabers flagship, etched to look like the Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. Are you up for that? Are you willing to collaborate with me on that? And he was totally down for that. And we spent maybe 5 minutes discussing, and we realized that we both had the exact same vision for what we wanted the hilt to look like in terms of the etch. I had done a prototype Photoshop, just really quick mock-up, taking a picture of the brass flagship and then superimposing some of the details from the Infinity Gauntlet. I just took a picture of the Infinity Gauntlet, superimposed it over. And so I sent that to him, and at the same time that I was sending that mock-up to him, he was sending me some reference photos, and he ended up grabbing a reference photo of the same photo that I used to superimpose for the mock-up. So I was like, we're on the same page. We don't even need to talk about what's going to happen. My only request is to make the etch clean and deep. Make it as clean as possible, as deep as possible, to really showcase the etch and to really make it feel like something special. So he spent a few weeks doing that. I ordered some empty flagships from KR Sabers, and I knew that the main difficulty was going to be getting all 6 Infinity Gems to light up here at the emitter, independently from the main blade. And as you can clearly see, I was able to achieve that. The machining up here internally to get 12 wires to go through and around the main LED, which is also housed up here, as well as leaving a space for blade socket, about an inch for a blade socket, was incredibly time consuming and incredibly difficult. I spent a solid day at least just staring at it, trying to figure out how to make it work. By the end of that day, I was like, I physically didn't accomplish anything, but I felt like I had done a full day's worth of work just staring at this thing, trying to figure out how to make it work. I ordered 3mm accent LEDs. Those are mounted flush with both the shrouds and then the inside of this blade bit. The gems and the bezels for the gems I sourced from a variety of local hobby shops, cut them down, painted them, sanded them, got them all to fit, mounted them onto the shrouds and onto the hilt. Ryan did a fantastic job on the etch. And then internally, it's an RGB for the main LED, and soundboard, it's a first for me. We are running a Crystal Focus 9 on this bad boy. Those of you who are familiar with my work over the last few years know that I've never done a Crystal Focus install before. I've always steered clear of them. I've always recommended other installers who are more familiar and more comfortable with that soundboard. If you're looking for a higher end install, I contented myself with nanos and prisms because they were, I had my niche and I was comfortable with doing the things that I did. You may notice that now only the purple accent is blinking. It has entered sleep mode, so only one of them is indicating that it's in sleep mode, and in another 5 minutes or so it will go into deep sleep mode and nothing will work. Hopefully I'll stop talking before then and we'll get it booted up. But I remember the hashtag that the Russo brothers, the directors for the Marvel Avengers film, they started a hashtag to keep spoilers off the internet for Infinity War, and the hashtag was Thanos demands your silence. And I really liked that marketing scheme that the Russo brothers did. It was pretty hip. It was pretty cool. I really liked it. And so I was inspired by that, and I decided that I would make my own hashtag, Thanos demands Crystal Focus. And that's how I sort of talked myself into doing a Crystal Focus for two reasons. One of them was it felt like this warranted the top tier soundboard, what's generally regarded in the community currently as the top tier soundboard. It could address up to 8 accent LEDs. I only needed 6, which was nice. It could also, now with the CF9, has music player underneath the audio, and I really wanted to be able to have a sound font with the Avengers theme playing underneath as I'm swinging the saber around. So all of those features together, and then along with the help of several individuals in the saber community, including Jordan Eugene and Christian Gale especially, but also Jay and Justin, both in the vault, who helped me through some of the configuration and wiring issues. So thank you to everyone who assisted in helping me with my first Crystal Focus install. I've popped my CF cherry, as it were, and it wasn't as daunting as I thought it was going to be. It's really the configuration. There's so many features, and the manual is like 100 pages long. And I will eventually learn all the features and read the entire manual. I didn't have that time to get that done in this short a time period. I also want to give a huge shout out to Novastar, who many of you know is one of the original sound font creators. He's still very active, has I think 100 or so sound fonts under his belt, at least probably on saberfont.com over all the years that he's been in the business. And like a week or so before I finished this install, he came out with his Infinity Gauntlet of the Ancients sound font, which was perfectly suited to this particular lightsaber. I don't know if he did it specifically for this lightsaber, he knew I was working on it, or if he had also seen the movie and decided that I'm going to make a sound font based on Thanos' glove because it sounds awesome in the movie and I want to have something that sounds like that on a lightsaber. Whatever the case was, I was so grateful that he went ahead and took the time to create an insanely awesome sound font. Truly, it's the first time I played that video, the preview video, I was like, buy it now, buy it now. It was lightning quick how fast I bought that. And then yeah, so here it is. Let's oh yes, and a plaque, a display plaque for the lightsaber. So you've got Thanos' face over here, Infinity Lightsaber, limited edition. In the green text, it says, perfectly balanced as all things should be, which is one of my favorite quotes from Thanos in the Avengers film. And then on the bottom, you've got the 3 companies that contributed the most to this saber. You got KR Sabers, of course, who designed and machined and manufactured the actual flagship hilt in brass that was used as the base for this project. Ronin Custom Armory in red in the middle, as he was the one who designed and applied the acid etch. And then yours truly, Shamim Saber Customization Services, who did the install and figured out how to mount all those 6 gems up there at the emitter, which was a pain in the ass, let me tell you. But worth it, because Thanos demands Crystal Focus. Let's take a quick look at the hilt itself. Got a Graflex style blade plug. There you've got your 6 infinity stones. You can see the etch around the shrouds. Got your power stone, your space stone, then you've got your reality stone, your soul stone, time stone, mind stone. Going down, you've got 12mm recessed AV switch. This is recessed in brass. The ones that I offer on my Etsy shop are aluminum, and then the gold ones are powder coated in translucent brass. But in this case, I decided to just get a chunk of brass and machine it out of brass so that Ryan could etch it and that it would match the rest of the hilt. Then you've got just one dome tactile switch back here as your auxiliary. The main body of the hilt is absolutely stunning. It matches the design that you see here on Thanos' actual gauntlet. You can see where Ryan took the inspiration from. And then up here around the shroud, this design is based off of this motif up here. Those are the two major design influences that Ryan took. Over here on the side, there's also a motif that Ryan put along the pommel. So you can see that design down there on the pommel, on the face of each of the cubes, the pommel cubes. But this design goes all the way around, and it's pretty seamless. And then you've got a brass cover tech, which he also dipped in acid to match the finish. I think I've talked long enough. This purple guy has stopped blinking, so it's in full deep sleep mode. Let's go ahead and get her fired up.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe, but this does put a smile on my face.
I'm using one of my 28mm SM high bass speakers, and this is one of the loudest sabers, if not the loudest saber I've ever installed, and I'm so happy about that. Because of the additional sound venting that I did up here, or the additional holes and stuff that I did for the accent LEDs, the sound reverberates and actually comes out of the emitter as well. If you put the emitter up to your ear while it's on, you can hear the sound coming out of some of the holes that are up here at the emitter. And that just gives the sense that the power and energy is emanating from the stones themselves. The blinking pattern is set up in the order that Thanos acquired the stones. So you got power, you got space, you got reality, soul, you got time, and then you've got mind, and then all of them light up in order. There you go. And then they blink in a sort of a crisscross 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then all together. And they repeat that pattern throughout the duration that the saber is on. I love the sounds on this sound font that Novastar did. Everyone needs to go and buy this sound font. Even if you have nothing to do with Thanos on your lightsaber, just this sound font is so unique and so beautiful. Novastar did a fantastic job. Listen to how heavy and epic those sound. And the lockup is the best part. Look at all the blinkies! Color change is the spectrum. So depending on the orientation of the hilt, that will swap between one of the 7 color profiles. Let's go with purple. And then we'll select that. It's my in-universe reasoning with having the accent LEDs all lit independently, and then the main blade being one of the 6 colors of the Infinity Stones, and then white, so you have 7 total, is the idea that these stones are always on and providing background energy to the lightsaber. But whatever power or whatever stone Thanos wants to wield, whatever power he wants to utilize at a given moment, the blade will turn the color of whatever stone he's using, and then white for all of them, because, you know, when he snaps his fingers and there's a white flash. So the idea is that if, for example, he wants to change reality, you know, it will turn to a red blade. All the other blades will be going and providing background support and energy, but the main power is coming from the Soul Stone, and that's why the blade turns red. So that's my in-universe thinking of how it should work. I went ahead and swapped a lot of the other sound effects on the Crystal Focus soundboard, particularly the sound bank selection is now Thanos saying, I suppose you have a preference.
I assume you have a preference.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
That was the first sound font.
I hope they remember you.
This is the second sound font. It's the same Nova Star sound font, just with some different power-ons and boots and whatnot. So let's go ahead and listen to this one.
You should have gone for the head.
So it starts with a snap, and Thor's scream that is cut short. And the post-off.
Did you do it?
Yes,
What did it cost?
everything.
So powerful. I'm gonna try some of these different
Did you do it?
axes. Oh.
Yes,
Wait for that post-off to finish.
What did it cost?
everything.
So I'm still figuring out the different axes, because you get 4 different power-ons depending on the axis that, or the angle that your hilt is turned. And I have Thor, I have Thor screaming, you know, a long time, and then, you know, you cut out Thor's scream. So it's different versions depending on what direction it's pointed, which is cool.
Did you do it?
Yes,
What did it cost?
everything.
And now my favorite version, let's go to the third font.
I assume you have a preference. I hope they remember you.
It's the second one.
And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
Yeah, you are Thanos.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
There's that quote. So different power on. This is the same font, same swings, but the clash is...
This day extracts a heavy toll.
Not all of them have dialogue.
I am prepared. I hope they remember you.
I gotta adjust the sensitivities.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist.
I love that quote so much.
This does put a smile on my face.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. I'm the only one with the will to act.
Woo.
I call that mercy. All that for a drop of blood. Oh well.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
It's just so cool. The blinkies. Man, the blinkies. So good. And now...
I assume you have a preference.
And now it's here.
So this is the audio player. So notice that the music starts, the blade isn't on. You can turn that on and control it separately.
Like to lose. I'm the only one with the will to act.
So the accents during this act as sort of an equalizer. Depending on the volume. And we're done.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Let's throw a blade in there. Your blade retention screw is right here above the time stone. Out slides your blade plug. You've still got about 1 inch of blade socket depth. There's your RGB LED. No exposed wires inside for the blade to get caught on, which is what I was aiming for, to have all the wires be internal and hidden.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist. I'm prepared. Oh, well. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Read it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same.
I hope they remember you. I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
That'll be me tonight, resting and watching the sun rise, or the sun, what was it, set on a grateful universe? Sunrise on a grateful universe. This was a labor of love, man. Major shout out to my boy Ryan Lannon. He and I are both going to be at TSL 3 in just a day or two. And I want to do a video, some pics with him. Both of us holding this saber that we worked on together. Oh boy. I'm really in love with, I'm really in love with it. And I think it would be appropriate to end the video by putting on the inspiration for the hilt. What do you think?
All that for a drop of blood.
I wonder if I can hold this. So that's pretty cool. You got, don't ever talk to me or my son again. You got the big stones and the small stones. So Thanos is a punk rocker, and the obligatory, I gotta do it, man. Anyway.
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Sunrise on a grateful universe. I can't wait for Avengers 4, man. Find out what happened at the end. Oh boy. this was a fun hilt to do. Crystal focus was challenging, but very fun. And I think I'm going to do a small run of these Infinity lightsabers with the plaque included. Ryan is open to doing a few more. I'm going to grab a few more flagships from KR Sabers, go out and source a few more bezels and stones, a couple more crystal foci, I guess, and maybe make a few more, I think 5 at the most. That way there would be 6 in the world. Just like there's 6 Infinity Stones, I think I will make 6 Infinity lightsabers. We'll see how that goes. But for now, there's just the one, and I'm the proud owner of it. And I don't know, if you show up to TSL 3 in Vegas, maybe you could be the proud owner of it. I don't know. I haven't decided if it will be for sale at TSL 3 or not. If I do make 6 total, one of them will absolutely stay in my collection. I'm just not sure if this prototype one, the first one, will stay in my collection or if I'll put it up for sale. So we'll see how the weekend goes. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. You've seen me progress from just basic Master Replicas conversions, just switching out one LED, to now doing this 4 years later. Thank you to everyone who has come on this this wild journey with me. It's been quite the ride. I've made a lot of friends along the way. And unfortunately, half of them no longer exist because I turned on this lightsaber. And as I open at the close, and as I said at the beginning, when I'm done, half the Saber community will still exist. Thank you all so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.